Achieving deep, restorative sleep in later life often depends less on the specific food eaten and more on the consciousness brought to the act. Many individuals seek a simple biological fix, perhaps eating a banana quickly before bed, hoping its minerals will mechanically induce rest, only to find their minds still racing. They overlook the profound power of the mind-body connection in preparing for sleep. The perspective associated with Wayne Dyer suggests that the intention behind an action is as powerful as the action itself. This exploration follows Wayne Dyer's lens, moving beyond the simple chemistry of the food to the ritual of its consumption. It provides a clear framework for transforming a mundane nightly snack into a deliberate practice, aligning the body and mind for true rejuvenation, which is the cornerstone of vitality. The misconception of mechanical sleep, the prevailing approach to managing sleep, particularly in later years, is often mechanical. It treats the human body as a simple machine, a biological system where inputs predictably equal outputs. If sleep is elusive, the common solution is to add an input, such as a supplement, a medication, or a specific food rumored to aid rest. The banana is a classic example of this thinking. It is consumed for its chemical properties, specifically its magnesium and potassium, which help relax muscles, and its tryptophan, a precursor to serotonin and melatonin. The expectation is that these components will flip a switch, powering down the conscious mind and activating the sleep state. This mechanical model, however, frequently fails to deliver the promised outcome. A person might diligently eat their banana 30 minutes before bed, yet lie awake for hours, consumed by worries about health, finances, or family. The food has been consumed, but the agitation remains. The body has received the minerals, but the nervous system remains locked in a state of high alert, operating from the sympathetic or fight-or-flight branch. This disconnection highlights the fundamental flaw in the mechanical approach. It ignores the dominant role that the mind plays in governing the body's physiological states. From the perspective of Wayne Dyer, this disconnection is the core of the problem. His philosophy emphasized that human beings are not just physical mechanisms, but conscious creators of their reality. To treat the body as a machine is to ignore the immense power of thought and intention. When an individual eats a banana while simultaneously watching stressful news or ruminating on the day's anxieties, the body receives conflicting messages. The food provides signals for relaxation, but the mind provides overpowering signals for stress. The nervous system, forced to choose, will almost always prioritize the perceived threat, elevating cortisol and keeping the individual awake. The biological mechanism of this conflict is clear. Stressful thoughts, anxieties about the future, or regrets about the past activate the adrenal system. This floods the body with cortisol, a hormone that prepares the body for action. Cortisol directly counteracts melatonin, the hormone of sleep. Therefore, the magnesium in the banana, intended to calm the system, is effectively neutralized by the cortisol produced by the mind. The individual is, in effect, pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time. The body cannot enter a state of deep rest and repair while it is being told to prepare for an emergency. An applied scenario illustrates this common frustration. An individual in their late 60s, having read about the importance of sleep for longevity, decides to adopt the banana habit. They eat one while scrolling through social media on their phone. The light from the screen suppresses melatonin, and the content triggers small bursts of emotional reactivity. They then get into bed, feeling virtuous for having done the healthy thing. Yet, sleep does not come. They grow frustrated, which introduces a new layer of anxiety about not sleeping, further activating the stress response and pushing sleep even further away. The counterexample to this is, of course, a situation where the problem is purely physiological. An individual might have a severe, clinically diagnosed magnesium deficiency. In such a specific case, supplementing with magnesium, whether through food or a pill, might indeed produce a significant and direct improvement in sleep quality. However, for the vast majority of people struggling with age-related sleep disruptions, The issue is not a simple mineral deficiency. It is a dysregulated nervous system, a mind that has not been given permission to stand down, and a lifetime habit of treating the body as separate from the mind. This highlights the limitations of relying solely on external substances for internal states. The body's chemistry is undeniably important, but it is orchestrated by the mind. Understanding this disconnect is a common step toward finding genuine rest. The failure of the mechanical banana trick is not a failure of the banana itself. It is the failure of a paradigm that discounts the power of human consciousness. The solution, therefore, is not necessarily a different food or a stronger supplement. It is a fundamental shift in the way the action is performed, moving from a mechanical act to a conscious ritual. This shift begins with acknowledging that the body is not a machine to be fixed, but a living system that responds to care, attention, and intention. The simple act of eating a banana can remain a useless, mechanical gesture, or it can be transformed into a powerful signal for profound rest. The chemistry of the food provides the potential, but it is the consciousness of the individual that unlocks it. Without this shift, the search for restorative sleep remains a frustrating cycle of trial and error. The individual is left seeking the next trick, the next supplement, forever missing the power they already hold. What am I doing mechanically that needs my intention? Intention as a biological primer, the concept of intention, central to the philosophy of Dyer, serves as the bridge between the mechanical act and the conscious ritual. Intention is not wishful thinking. It is the deliberate act of directing the mind and, consequently, the body toward a specific, desired outcome. In the context of sleep, setting an intention is the act of consciously deciding that the body will rest, heal, and rejuvenate. This act, when performed with focus, serves as a powerful biological primer, preparing the nervous system for sleep before the first bite of food is even taken. When an individual holds a banana and silently or verbally states an intention like, "I will use this food to signal deep, restorative sleep for my body," they are initiating a physiological cascade. This deliberate thought process begins to shift the nervous system away from the sympathetic, stress-dominant state. It moves it toward the parasympathetic state, often called the rest and digest system. This is the state required for the body to relax muscles, slow the heart rate, and initiate the processes of cellular repair. The intention is the command that allows this transition to begin. Dyer taught that thoughts create feelings, and feelings create physiological reality. An intention focused on peace, healing, and rest evokes a feeling of safety and calm. This feeling is the antidote to the anxiety that keeps many people awake. Biologically, this feeling of safety reduces the production of cortisol. Instead of fighting against a tide of stress hormones, the magnesium and potassium from the food are now entering a system that is already receptive to their calming effects. The intention clears the path, allowing the food's nutrients to work effectively rather than being neutralized by a stressed mind. This priming mechanism differentiates the act from a placebo. While the placebo effect relies on belief, intention is an active process of creation. The individual is not just hoping the banana will work. They are actively participating in the process, using their focused mind to create the optimal internal environment for sleep. This mental alignment, as Dyer might describe it, is a form of co-creation with the body. The mind sets the stage, and the body, with the aid of the food's nutrients, performs the play of restorative sleep. An applied scenario demonstrates this shift. The same individual from the previous night, who ate their banana while stressed and distracted, tries a new approach. This time, they turn off the television and put down their phone 10 minutes before they plan to eat. They sit quietly, holding the banana. They close their eyes and take 3 slow, deep breaths. They silently repeat the intention, "My body knows how to heal." This food supports my body's deep rest. They feel a subtle but real shift in their physical state, a slight loosening of tension in their shoulders and jaw. Only then do they begin to eat. Of course, intention is not an absolute cure-all, It operates within certain limitations. If an individual is suffering from severe, chronic physical pain or an untreated medical condition like sleep apnea, intention alone cannot override the powerful physical signals of distress or airway obstruction. Similarly, if the external environment is disruptive with loud noises or bright lights, the nervous system may be unable to settle fully, regardless of the person's mental state. Intention is a powerful partner to physiology in a healthy environment. It is not a magical replacement for medical care or practical sleep hygiene. However, for the common challenges of sleep in later life, which are often rooted in anxiety and a mind that will not quiet down, intention is a profoundly underutilized tool. It reestablishes the mind's role as the governor of the body. It takes the individual out of the passive role of victim to their sleeplessness and places them in the active role of creator of their rest. This sense of agency is, in itself, a powerful reducer of anxiety. The fear of not sleeping is often the very thing that prevents sleep. The act of setting an intention transforms the banana from a simple object into a symbol. It becomes a physical anchor for a mental and spiritual process. It represents a commitment to self-care and a deliberate choice to end the day in peace. This mental preparation is arguably more important than the food's specific nutritional profile. It is the invisible component that dictates whether the act of eating will be a precursor to agitation or a gateway to tranquility. It prepares the body to receive not just nutrients, but the command to rest. What intention am I setting for my rest tonight? The ritual of conscious consumption with the internal environment primed by intention. The next step is the physical act itself. This is where the mundane snack is fully transformed into a sacred ritual. The how of eating the banana becomes the focal point, engaging the principles of mindfulness and presence that Wayne Dyer championed. He often taught that the highest form of human functioning is to be fully present in the moment. Applying this to the act of eating, especially before sleep, turns it into a powerful meditative practice that anchors the mind and finalizes the body's shift into a parasympathetic state. The ritual begins not with the first bite, but with the preparation. This involves creating a quiet, calm environment free from the distractions that trigger the sympathetic nervous system. The television is off. The phone is in another room. The lights are dimmed. This external calm signals to the brain that the day is over, that all perceived threats have subsided, and that it is safe to become vulnerable, which is a prerequisite for sleep. This conscious creation of a sanctuary, even for just 5 minutes, is a critical part of the process. Then, the focus turns to the sensory experience of the food. The individual is encouraged to peel the banana slowly, noticing the sound of the peel separating, observing the texture of the fruit, and inhaling its faint, sweet smell. Each of these sensory inputs, when focused on, anchors the mind firmly in the present moment. This is the antidote to the anxious mind, which is defined by its tendency to ruminate on the past or worry about the future. It is impossible to worry about tomorrow's medical appointment while being completely absorbed in the smell of a banana. The act of eating is then performed with the same deliberate, mindful presence. Instead of chewing twice and swallowing, the individual takes a small bite and chews it slowly, perhaps 20 or 30 times. They are instructed to notice the changing texture, the release of flavor, the sensation of the food in their mouth. This mindful eating has a direct biological benefit. It activates the full rest and digest response, stimulating the production of saliva and digestive enzymes, and signaling to the entire gastrointestinal system that it is time to process, not to panic. This calming signal ripples outward to the entire nervous system. Wayne Dyer's core insight that you are what you think about is pivotal here. By focusing the mind entirely on the simple, pleasant, and safe act of eating, the individual is generating thoughts of peace and presence. These thoughts create a corresponding feeling of calm, which in turn reinforces the parasympathetic state. The banana is no longer just magnesium and potassium. It is a tool for practicing presence. The ritual is a moving meditation, where the food serves as the mantra. This is the integration of mind and body, where the thought, I am calm, is physically embodied in the act of slow, conscious consumption. An applied scenario clarifies this profound shift. A woman sits at her kitchen table in the quiet, dim light. She has already set her intention. She slowly peels the banana. She brings it to her nose and inhales. She takes a small bite and closes her eyes, chewing slowly. Her mind wanders to a worry from the day, and she gently, without judgment, brings it back to the taste of the banana in her mouth. She repeats this with every bite. By the time she finishes, her breathing is slower, her muscles are relaxed, and she feels a sense of profound stillness. She has not just eaten, she has completed a ceremony. This practice is not without its challenges. For individuals with a history of disordered eating, such intense focus on the act of eating can sometimes trigger anxiety rather than relieve it. In such cases, the ritual might be modified. The focus could be less on the sensory details of the food and more on the feeling of gratitude for it, or on the intention for healing, adapting the practice to the individual's specific psychological needs. The goal is always to create a state of calm, and the method must be flexible to serve that goal. It is often in the smallest, most automatic habits that the greatest opportunities for conscious change reside. By taking an act as simple as eating a banana and infusing it with intention, presence, and sensory awareness, the individual reclaims authority over their own nervous system. The ritual becomes a definitive, non-negotiable boundary between the stress of the day and the sanctuary of the night. This is the practical application of Wayne Dyer's philosophy, changing one's world by changing one's consciousness. The reward is not just better sleep, but a new, empowered relationship with the self. When did I last do something with my full attention? Sleep is a gateway to cellular restoration, the successful execution of this nightly ritual, moving from intention to mindful consumption, achieves more than just a quick descent into sleep. It fundamentally changes the quality of that sleep. This qualitative difference is the entire purpose of the endeavor, especially when viewed through the lens of longevity and vitality. Shallow, fragmented sleep interrupted by anxiety is merely palliative. Deep, restorative sleep, initiated by a calm and aligned nervous system, is generative. It is the gateway to the body's most profound healing mechanisms, the period where cellular restoration actively takes place. From the perspective of Wayne Dyer, sleep was often described as a return to the source, a spiritual state of non-being where the body and spirit could be healed and realigned. This philosophical view has a direct and measurable biological correlate. When the body enters the deeper stages of non-REM sleep, specifically stages 3 and 4, the brain begins to produce large, slow delta waves. This is the state where the body's most critical repair work is accomplished. A mind that enters sleep from a state of peace, rather than crashing from exhaustion or anxiety, can access these deeper, more restorative states more quickly and remain in them for longer durations. One of the most critical processes for longevity that occurs during this deep sleep is the activation of the glymphatic system. This is the brain's unique waste clearance system. During the day, the brain accumulates metabolic byproducts, including proteins like beta amyloid, which is famously associated with Alzheimer's disease. During deep delta wave sleep, the brain cells actually shrink, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to flush through the tissue and clear out these toxic buildups. Insufficient deep sleep, caused by a stressed nervous system, impairs this cleaning process, allowing toxins to accumulate night after night, directly contributing to age-related cognitive decline. Simultaneously, deep sleep is the primary window for the pituitary gland to release human growth hormone, or HGH. In adults, HGH is not about growing taller. It is the master hormone for repair and regeneration. It stimulates protein synthesis, helps repair muscle tissue, strengthens bones, and maintains the health of all organs. A nervous system calmed by the nightly ritual allows for a robust release of HGH, which is essential for waking up feeling physically refreshed and for slowing the sarcopenia and tissue degradation associated with aging. The banana ritual, therefore, is an act that directly supports this vital hormonal cascade. An applied scenario helps to visualize this internal restoration. As the individual sleeps deeply, having calmed their mind with a conscious ritual, their brain is undergoing its nightly wash cycle. The fluid is flushing toxins from between the neurons. In their muscles, HGH is at work repairing micro-tears from the day's activity. The immune system is recalibrating, clearing out old cells and manufacturing new immune factors. The entire body is in a state of profound, active renewal. This is the physical manifestation of the healing that Wayne Dyer spoke of. The individual is not just unconscious. They are in a dynamic state of rebuilding. This connection, however, is not absolute. The restorative power of sleep is a cornerstone of longevity, but it is not the only factor. A person cannot maintain a highly inflammatory diet, live a completely sedentary lifestyle, or smoke, and then expect a mindful banana to reverse all that damage. The nightly ritual is a powerful component of a holistic approach to health. Its power is maximized when it works in concert with other healthy choices. It is a daily practice of repair, not a nightly miracle that absolves all other behaviors. The consistency of the practice is what builds long-term vitality. One night of good sleep feels good. A year of consistent, deep, restorative sleep, facilitated by this ritual, fundamentally changes the body's aging trajectory. It slows cognitive decline, maintains muscle mass, and keeps the immune system robust. The ritual is the key that unlocks the door to this healing state. Without it, the door remains shut, and the body misses its most important opportunity for repair, regardless of what supplements or sleep foods are consumed. This deep, cellular restoration is the ultimate payoff for transforming the mechanical act into a conscious one. The goal is not just to fall asleep, but to heal. The banana, therefore, becomes a symbolic key, and the ritual is the act of consciously turning that key in the lock. This nightly return to a state of deep repair is the foundation upon which long-term health and vitality are built. The mind, through intention and presence, creates the conditions for the body to perform its most essential work. Do I treat my sleep as passive rest or active healing? Integrating nightly rituals for sustained vitality, the true measure of any practice, is its sustainability and its power to create lasting change. The transformation of eating a banana from a mechanical act to a conscious ritual is not a one-time fix. It is the establishment of a cornerstone habit. When this habit is integrated into daily life, it becomes a powerful anchor for the nervous system, building a foundation of resilience and sustained vitality. This integration is the final step, where the practice moves from a novel technique to an essential, non-negotiable part of the individual's life, fulfilling the promise of deep rejuvenation. The final synthesis of this process, viewed through the lens of Wayne Dyer, is the profound realization that the individual has the power to change their physical reality by changing their inner state. The banana was never the magic. The magic was and always is the consciousness the person brings to the moment. The banana simply served as a physical, tangible object on which to focus that consciousness. It was a training tool for the mind. This realization is empowering and is the key to longevity, which is ultimately a product of consistent, conscious daily choices. As the ritual is practiced night after night, it creates new, reinforced neural pathways. The brain learns to associate the entire sequence, dimming the lights, sitting quietly, setting the intention, the smell and taste of the banana, with the parasympathetic response. This is classical conditioning at its best. Over time, the physiological shift into the rest and digest state happens more quickly and more profoundly. The individual's sleep latency, the time it takes to fall asleep, shortens dramatically. The anxiety loop of "will I be able to sleep tonight?" is broken, replaced by a deep-seated confidence in the body's ability to rest. This nightly practice of presence and intention begins to permeate other areas of life. The individual who learns to eat a banana mindfully may begin to eat other meals mindfully, improving digestion and nutrient absorption. The person who learns to consciously release the day's stress before bed may find themselves better able to release stress in the middle of the day. The ritual is not an isolated event. It is a form of mental and spiritual training that enhances the quality of one's waking life, which in turn further improves the quality of sleep. This creates a positive, self-reinforcing cycle of vitality. An applied scenario after 6 months of consistent practice illustrates this integration. The individual no longer feels a sense of anxiety as bedtime approaches. The ritual is now a cherished, calming part of their evening. Some nights, they find they do not even need the banana. The act of sitting quietly and setting the intention is by itself now strong enough to trigger the relaxation response. The banana has become an optional tool rather than a necessary crutch. They have successfully internalized the practice, proving that the power was always within them, not within the food. This journey resolves the initial problem. The search for a mechanical fix, the common enemy of a distracted, anxious mind, has been replaced by a reliable, internal process. The promise of a path to deep restoration has been fulfilled, not by a secret supplement, but by the application of conscious awareness to a simple daily act. This approach, which aligns with Wayne Dyer's core teachings, places agency and power back into the hands of the individual. It demonstrates that they are not a passive victim of aging and sleeplessness, but an active creator of their own well-being. The final empowering thought is this: health and longevity are not won in grand, heroic battles. They are cultivated in the small, quiet moments of daily life. They are the product of the choices made in the mundane. The decision to eat a piece of fruit with full, conscious, loving attention is a profound act of self-care. It is a declaration that one's peace is sacred. This simple, repeatable ritual becomes a quiet, powerful engine of cellular repair, driving sustained vitality for years to come. What small act will I make conscious starting today?